electric motor, and then it can, if you increase the speed, it will go into the IC engine mode. Yes.
As I know, almost 6 kilometers.
Sure. So in the plug-in head, it has both rechargeable battery pack and a gasoline engine. And if the battery pack is depleted, the gasoline engine takes over. The battery electric vehicles, they are purely electric, no IC engine at all. So this is how. Now, gentlemen, let me tell you something. Faisal, where is Faisal?
That's something that I can do.
I think he said that he has a question.
Okay. Anybody knows him?
Yeah, I know.
You know him, so you tell him this story which I'm going to tell you. Now, one of the problems that I see is we are counting too much on technology, especially if we have a lot of flows. If we have deep pockets, we believe we can buy any technology and it will solve our problems. That may be a mistake. Without right policies, without the right acceptability of the technology alone will not work. Let me give example of electric vehicles. 10 years ago, if I was teaching about electric vehicles and you are people with different economic brackets, some of you are very rich. The electric vehicles are there for since how long?
40, 50 years.
100, more than 100.
More than
When
100
they
years.
start before, yeah.
More than 100 years ago. So 10 years ago, there were 30 companies making electric vehicles. And you could buy an electric vehicle. But they were expensive, number one. Number two, but you can afford. You are a rich man, you can afford. No problem for you. But what was your problem? The problem was it has 100 kilometers of range. You cannot even go to the moon. If you are hung up in the traffic, although the moon is maybe 30, 40 kilometers, and if you are caught up in traffic, you are gone. Forget about going to Riyadh or Jubail. So you say, no, it's useless to me. It's good only for driving in the campus or going to maybe restaurant and so on. So they worked on the range, and now 600 kilometer, and some companies claim 900 kilometer you can go in one charge. Problem solved? Problem solved?
For most use cases, I think.
Solved?
Up to an extent.
No.
Up to an extent, but not all. Still.
What's the next
You
one?
just minimized the problem, but the problem still exists because it takes almost like 1-2 hours, I believe, to charge these cars.
Yes.
But
So
feeling the person-
first problem solved? No. The second you say no. It takes me 10 hours to charge, 15 hours to charge. I don't have that much time. Okay, they say we give you home charging stations. You bring in, you leave it at night, in the morning it is charged. It may suit some people's lifestyle, but not to everybody. Then what? They say, okay, we can give you fast charging stations, 1 to 2 hours. They are expensive, but you're a rich man, you say, okay, that's fine, in 1 to 2 hours. But the normal car you can charge in 2 minutes. The petrol tank you can fill in 2 minutes. So you say no. They said, okay, we can give you 30-minute charging. So we will set up in the town at few places. You go there, you sit there, have a cup of tea, you check your emails, and in the meanwhile we'll charge it. Nobody has time for that. And then now a Chinese company has come up and they have got the stations in the town. You go there, In 2 minutes, they change the batteries. They replace the batteries. All your problems solved. Fine? But this solution existed in Europe in 1940s. In 1940s, there were electric taxis in some European cities, and they would go to their charging points, and they had big cranes at that time, big batteries. It would take 5 minutes, and they would replace the battery. So this is the solution which Chinese company has offered. Not even Tesla, not even other companies, only one company. And it is the state of the art. But this solution was there 70 years ago. So why it did not fly?
Technology is there. Aren't mature yet.
No, by that time it was fine. There was big resistance from the automobile industry. There was not enough infrastructure in place. There was not acceptability, and there were no environmental concerns and pressures. And those vehicles, there was huge cost difference. So the point is, it's not just a technology. It has to be a complete ecosystem, which means policy, which means awareness, which means socio-economical, cultural, political acceptance. So everything has to come together for a solution, for a technology to work, not just a technology. So if you look at the internal combustion engines, from the point of you have produced oil, the refined oil from the refineries. If 100 units of oil you get from the refinery, there are losses, 88 units reach up to the petrol station, and from there you fill your tank, and the car will give you 13 units of positive energy. So the efficiency is, and imagine this is just from the refinery. We are not considering the earlier losses. In case of electric vehicles, if you have produced energy from wind and solar, the efficiency there is 74%, and there the efficiency is 13%. So this is a quick rundown to electric vehicles. Then the decarbonization in the fossil fuel sector. There are two possible options. One is carbon capture and storage, and the other one is removing hydrogen from fossil fuels and making them a more, fossil fuels, they are hydrocarbons. So you reduce basically the share of carbon and increase the concentration of hydrogen to make them more efficient and less polluting. Now, in terms of carbon capture and storage, is a broad term that represents several technologies which capture carbon dioxide emission from the facilities or directly from the atmosphere. The process is designed to help prevent the accumulation of greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, and once it is, now the challenge is what to do with this carbon dioxide, and this is where the challenge is. The challenge is not just the capturing, but also the sorting out with the carbon dioxide, because it leaks. It's very expensive to address it. So you can capture carbon dioxide in pre-combustion stage, and the examples could be, for example, coal is heated under pressure to create synthesis gas called gasification, and you can do it post-combustion carbon capture. For example, capturing carbon from the exhaust gases from power plant, process heaters, and industrial processes. But this is one of the major avenues that the world is counting on, especially the countries rich in fossil fuels. Okay, now next is decentralized distributed generation. Now the first electric company